good morning everybody, and welcome to the vlog. I hope the start of your day is absolutely incredible. You know, 2019 was one of the best breeding seasons that I can ever remember here at BHB. I wanted to show you guys a few highlights of some of the most amazing animals, starting with ball pythons. And again, it was such an amazing year with production when it comes to ball pythons. It's hard to really pick just a handful of things I want to show off because I could probably spend 2 hours just looking through ball pythons. But there's no doubt that the Cinny new gene that we're saying we're going to either call a Ripper, a Ginger, or a Cinnamon Toast Crunch was really amazing because it's a project that we kind of started from scratch, right? So to see it kind of start to come to fruition and know that now we've proven that it's inherent, that is pretty amazing. Again, it's going to take us several years to really understand the gene, but the start of it has been pretty incredible. And my quest for the Barney ball continued on, and this is as close as I really got, which was the super chocolate banana. You could see how unbelievably purple that animal is. Again, if you can reduce the amount of yellow in it, making it even more purple with the camo, I think it's gonna be the true Barney ball python. Will it work? I'm not sure. This year we missed on it, but I was sure happy we produced this little monkey. And although the camo ball python is that dark animal that I'm trying to produce the Barney ball with, the chocolate mahogany pinstripe came out so incredible. They look much like a camo, but the difference is it's much darker. So in actuality, this might be the better key to the but in all actuality, this might be the better key to the Barney ball down the line. But I tell you what, I was in love with these ones. Definitely gonna be working a lot harder on this project in the future. You might remember when I cut this clutch of ball pythons, there was a couple solid purple patternless ball pythons. Well, the purple has changed a little bit more to a gray color, but nevertheless unbelievable. This is a super pastel, black pastel, pinstripe cypress ball python, and I am so happy with the way they turned out. I'm going to definitely hang on to at least one of these, raise it up, and kind of start working that project, because who knows what this animal is going to do in the future. I know it looks absolutely insanely cool. I still don't understand why it's patternless. It doesn't make any sense, but hey, it's still an awesome snake. So many amazing banana ball pythons produced this year. This one, I just love the kind of contrast, the oranges, the kind of purples coming through. It's just very unbelievable. This is actually a banana Cinny Enchi pinstripe. I love this animal. Turns out it was a female on top of it, so we're gonna raise this up and have this as a future breeder. And to me, probably one of the coolest clutches, if not the coolest clutch that I cut this year, was of course the Pastel Leopard Clown male that was bred to the Pastel Lesser Clown female. So they were all clowns, and of course this was the creme de la creme. This was the one that was the super pastel lesser leopard clown. This was the gene that we wanted on everything, but the entire clutch was absolutely stunning. So let's look at the rest of the clutch. This was actually just a pastel leopard clown. So this was basically like the male that produced or sired the clutch. Unbelievably beautiful. And then this one was actually the killer or super pastel leopard clown ball python. Oh my God, the purple on this is insane. And I love the way this animal turned out. Sometimes, in all honesty, when you start taking some things away, it actually brightens things up. This is just a lesser leopard clown. So there's no pastel in this one, and it looks unbelievable. And then another example of polymorphism would be this one. This is the exact same animal as the last one. It's just a lesser leopard clown ball python. But again, look at the reduction in pattern and the way the striping is, the kind of melting of that dorsal. This clutch was one for the ages, but ball pythons weren't the only thing we produced this year. Let's go ahead and see what other, highlights we had this year. I think there's a good chance that I was abducted by aliens last night.
No freaking way, dude.
I woke up and did you see that right there? There's like a blood cut or something like that.
Oh my God, they're tapping into the freaking brain. That
Yeah.
stuff really creeps me out, man.
I don't know. Where did this come from last night?
The dogs sleep in your bed.
Okay, that's a rational.
They might have
That's a rational thought. That's a rational thought. That's a rational thought. It's a possibility, but it could be aliens, right?
Why would they stab you right there?
Dude, they're getting to his brain, dude. They're going back there through the eye socket.
It's possible.
That's the eyebrow.
I don't know.
It curves. They're metal curves.
Well, I think I heard that they take your brain through your nose.
No, that's the Egyptians.
Oh.
Okay.
Listen, if you got a couple grand, we'll get you a CAT scan. Okay, contrasted. We'll see what's in there.
We'll get you in by February.
All right, good. All right, well, you guys made me feel better. Okay. Probably the dog.
I think it's aliens, personally.
I think it's the Egyptians.
We had a banger of a Clubrid year, there's no doubt. We produced thousands of Clubrids, and again, I love Clubrids so much, so it's really hard to think what are like the highlights of the year for me, to be honest with you, because there's so many animals that I'm like, oh my God, that's so cool, so I'm gonna do my best I can, and certainly this pastel pink hognose snake was one of the cooler ones for sure. We produced these guys for a long time, but still every time I produce them it's crazy, right? Because there's just like this pink snake with like greenish spots to it. I mean, how incredible. And Western hognose are beautiful, amazing snakes anyway. So definitely I wanted to start out with a snake that's a little near and dear to my heart. Black and white Cal Kings. I've told you guys before that I think they're a sleeper colubrid because they're amazing. It's got that cool black and white contrast, amazing animals. And of course, these are the ones that are super high white, right? This is about as high white of a black and white Cal King as you're gonna possibly get. Just a little bit of black on its head, pretty much a little freckles here and there on the back, and then a white animal. So I couldn't be more happy with all of the black and white Cal Kings that we produced this year, but these high white ones that we produced, they were pretty much rippers. Scaleless corn snakes. Oh my gosh, we had a really great year with scaleless corn snakes. There's so many that are really ridiculous. This one, I think, tops it for me anyways. This is actually an anery diffused scaleless corn snake. I love the anery scaleless corns. They're the ones that just kind of have the coolest contrast to me. And then you put the diffused, or what they sometimes call blood red, and it just kind of reduces pattern, blows out the sides. And I tell you what, these guys are unbelievable. And to produce these are crazy cool. This is such a beautiful snake. And we produced a lot of cool scaleless stuff this year. Then there's the scaleless snow corn snakes. This is a triple recessive. It's anearthristic, it's albino, and it's scaleless. So that's a lot of odds to try to get an animal like this, but it's really cool. And I've mentioned in the past that some of the scaleless snows won't have any pattern at all on them. So they're just basically a white scaleless snake that looks really cool. And then some have just little dots down their back like this particular one here. They came out cool. They're kind of creepy, I'm not gonna lie to you. When you get into the white scaleless snakes, you can see more of the wrinkles. That gets a little bit weird, almost like an old man snake, but nevertheless, this guy was a cool animal. Then this one here is ridiculous. I mean, just look at the red on this animal right here. This is actually what they call a fire scaleless. So it's actually an albino, it's a hypo, and it's a scaleless. Again, a triple recessive mutation. And that's the thing about colubrids that are a little bit better than, say, ball pythons, is you can start working with 3 and 4 recessive mutations, and because they have bigger clutches, you know, sometimes 12 to 20 eggs, and sometimes twice a year. So in a relatively short period of time, if you have something that's, say, a 1 in 128 odds, you can produce that within 1 or 2 seasons. Whereas with a ball python that's producing 4 to 8 eggs, typically, something like that, it could take an entire lifetime to hit a quad het animal and actually see the homozygous of that. In this case, it's a triple, and it's absolutely ridiculous. And then here is actually a diffused scaleless corn. So much like the anery diffused, this is just without the anery, the black corn part, right? So this has the pigment in it, and basically it's a diffused corn, so it's kind of lacking the pattern, and that red just really comes out in these animals. Of course, as they get bigger, they start to lose more of the patterning and become more blood red and more just patternless. So this guy's going to be an absolute ripper here in another year. These guys aren't extremely rare by any stretch, but every time I see them, I just love them to death. Of course, these are the T-positive Nelson's milk snake, and they're wiggly little monkeys. There's no doubt about that, but just that purplish, brownish, grayish look on the bands absolutely are incredible. I love these guys. And much like the T-positive Nelson's rat, a lot of times when I prove stuff, it's not always about the rarity of the animal. Sometimes it's just about the coolness of the animal or what I like them. I love Texas rat snakes. You guys know I have a bunch of scaleless Texas rat snakes and stuff like that. This is actually a snow Texas rat snake that's actually het for leucistic, which is pretty cool. So basically what you have here is an anearthristic and albino, and then it's het for leucistic on top of it. When I breed these guys together, I get pink-eyed leucistic Texas rat snakes, which are really cool. So I'm definitely excited about the future of this project. And again, it's maybe not a super sought-after project. To me, it's absolutely insane. I mentioned before that we're actually taking our blue-tongued skinks off of heat and getting them ready for brumation. This is a nice little coffee male that fathered a couple litters this year. So basically what we're going to do is just literally turn the heat off. Once we turn the heat off, they drop down to like the mid-70s. We'll keep them that way for about 6 or 7 weeks, bring them up and start breeding them. Really quite simple, to be honest with you. We have all the hay in here that they can kind of burrow in and kind of just go to sleep for the next 6 weeks. We don't feed them during that period of time. Nothing too special at all. They don't get too cool. So really it's just a matter of turning off the heat source. And speaking speaking of blue-tongued skinks, we didn't have a banger of a year, but we did produce some really amazing animals. Not the quantity that we were hoping for, but still the quality was incredible. Let's take a look at a few of the little babies that I love. This one was an absolute ripper. This was actually a coffee female that was bred to a beautiful blaze male, so a real red male. And I tell you what, as this thing is getting bigger, it's getting insanely awesome. And the thing that's really cool about skinks is the polymorphism. That's just a fancy word for the variability that comes out. This is actually from the exact same litter as the other one. And I mean, they're similar, there's no doubt about it, but the reds in the other one were really incredible. This one is more of that orange looking kind of coming out. Still both incredible. I love both of them, and they're going to continue to get better. That's the thing about skinks, is that as they get older, they actually develop more color. It's kind of interesting because like ball pythons almost go the other way, right? It's like, you know, when they're babies, they're beautiful, maybe even 300 grams, they're absolutely incredible, but then when they get older, they start dull out. Skinks actually get better with age. So when you see an animal this size, so incredible, you wonder, what is it going to look like when it's an adult? Pretty sure it's going to be amazing. And again, you know, I'm just showing you a few of my favorites. There's a ton of them that were incredible this year. This is a completely new, different project that is just kind of an orange and reduced patterned animal that I really like. Again, most of the time, Northerns have big, wide blotches. This one had really thin, kind of almost bands. And again, it's bred to a really orange animal, so it came out super cool. I've never seen a Northern blue-tongued skink that's looked like this ever, so I'm pretty excited about this one. Going to hang on to it, raise it up, and hopefully we can really work on this bloodline and the polymorphism within it, and hopefully in 2, 3, 4 generations, maybe we can get like a pinstripe orange Northern blue-tongued skink. And certainly one of the highlights for me personally was the baby frill dragons. There's something about when you produce something for the first time, especially something that not a lot of people breed. So I didn't think we were going to even have success with the frill dragons when Eric and Mary brought Lilith over, and here we are. We got our first clutch. There was 4 eggs. They're getting so big, and then we got the next clutch of 7 eggs. Now they're doing so well. They are the cutest thing, and I am so excited that we hatch them. I can't wait till next year. I don't know, we're probably just going to raise all these up and start a group. I'm not 100% sure, and they are so cute when you feed them. So I'm going to dust up some roaches, and let's just see these little buggers eat. There is no doubt that we had a banger of a year when it came to leopard geckos. I mean, Jessica produced so many leopard geckos, it was like leopard gecko overload. I'm not going to lie to you. And like I've mentioned before, we actually reduced our adults quite a bit. So we'll never produce the number of geckos that we ever produced in the past, but we're certainly going to refine and produce better and better quality, color, all that type of stuff. Really start to look at things that we love. And I love the bold stripe stuff. This is actually a bell bold stripe, white and yellow, and just the contrast that comes out in that striping is insane. Again, so many leopard geckos. It's going to be hard to even just show you guys 4 or 5 of them because there are hundreds and hundreds that are ridiculous. This is actually almost the same animal as the last one, but with a crazier pattern. I think there's a chance that this might be an Eclipse as well, because that pattern is ridiculous. I mean, as I'm looking through geckos, I opened up and I was like, oh my God, that thing is crazy. This isn't like something that's uber rare, but I really like these. These are actually Max Snow Murphy's patternless. I just like the gray overtone to this. It's such a cute little animal for sure. Again, that's a codominant Max Snow and then a recessive Murphy's patternless. Together, every time we hatch these guys, I just like them. Again, not anything super cool or rare, but it's something I really love. This one is insane, guys. I'll be honest with you, I'm not even sure what it is. I'm gonna have to ask Jessica, but all I know is it's definitely, look at this little cute little monkey right here. It's definitely a Max Snow. It's definitely an Eclipse for sure, possibly a white and yellow, but I've never seen the kind of Dalmatian spots on an animal, then a stripe down the middle like this. I'm gonna keep this animal. I know Jessica's gonna be like, Brian, we don't need to keep more leopard geckos, but this animal is gonna get Mark keep on it because I love it. This may be my favorite gecko that we've ever produced, in my opinion. I just love the pattern and the color and everything like that. This thing is a ripper. This animal just keeps getting better and better. I remember when we hatched it and thinking it was insane. Now this is actually an Eclipse Super Snow, so for whatever reason, when when you have an Eclipse Super Snow, you get kind of a pied look to it. But this is probably one of my favorite pies I've ever seen, where it has basically a white head, a couple white spotches on the tip of its tail. It's got a little bit of white. I mean, this is the true definition of what a piebald animal would look like. And it's really cool that that Eclipse gene and the Super Snow mixed together to make such a wild mutation. But as this one's getting bigger, it's getting better and better, and this is another keeper. Certainly one of the things as we're refining our collection of leopard geckos is to increase that color. I really want to get even more and more tangerine and orange and red colors into things. We've got a few bloodlines of tangerine that are pretty good, and some of the animals we're producing now are pretty outrageous. But again, over the next few generations, by breeding for polygenic, basically breeding the orangest animals to the orangest animals, the reddest animals to the reddest animals, the yellowest animals to the yellowest animals, you can kind of refine and get better and better. And that's the idea now, is to not produce the numbers that we produced before, but produce the quality that is up from every year that we produce. So every year should be better than the last. So some of our tangerine stuff is awesome now, but it's only going to get better. So once again, 2019 was an amazing production year when it came to BHB Reptiles. We're excited because every year there's new projects that come onto line. So 2020 hopefully will be equally or maybe even better than 2019. I tell you what, I love breeding animals. I also love the Reptarium. So I'm living the dream right now, guys. It's absolutely amazing. If you like this video, here's some highlights over here in this video of 2019's egg season. Over here, I cut a bunch of snake eggs on a playlist. If you want to just run through a whole bunch of stuff, if you can do me a favor over here, can you hit that subscribe button? While you're at it, turn the post notifications on for me. Remember to have an absolutely wonderful day, and you better be kind to somebody. I promise. I'll see you guys tomorrow.